Hi, my name is Rob LaFond. The LaFond Loop is a show where I talk to friends, YouTubers, artists, musicians, and entrepreneurs while we do a loop in the cable cars above the city of Medellin.
I know LaFond. I don't know what the LaFond Loop is.
The Medellin Metrocable is an aerial cable car public transportation system that has been operating in the city since 2004. It was implemented to provide quality and affordable transportation for the people living in the highly populated slopes of Medellin. Today we're going to talk to my friend Joey from New York City, who has been living in Medellin for the past 7 years. Hey bro, what's up man?
What's good?
Is it cool if I come in here? Is there space on this or what?
Come on in, plenty of room.
It's cool.
Yes, sir.
Alright brother. Why Medellin? Why did you end up here?
Ah man, why Medellin? You know, I had a window in life where I could really explore a little bit. I'd done some traveling on my own, went to Guatemala to try to learn a little bit of Spanish and met some people who were just like living abroad, and you know, it inspired me to look into places to live.
What's 3 words you would use to describe Medellin?
Medellin, pueblo, I would say warmth. You know, not just climate. I think the people are warm people, Colombian people, Paisa people in general, are some warmth. But I would have to kind of contrast that with another word that say, you know, cautious, vigilant. So let's call it vigilant.
So you're saying there's another aspect of Medellin where you need to protect yourself? No de papaya?
Yeah, no da papaya, exactly. You just
What does that mean?
you just gotta, you know, look out for yourself. A lot of people here are looking out for themselves, so you just gotta remember to look out for yourself as well. No da papaya. Be vigilant.
What's the biggest misconception you've noticed about Medellin?
The biggest one is just kind of this infatuation with narco culture. I personally haven't run into it a lot, you know, based on the circles that I run in. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I just think that I think there's a misconception about like, how prevalent it is or how materialistic the culture can be. I haven't seen it. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but it's not something that I've experienced a lot firsthand.
Did you have any culture shock or anything that was hard to get used to?
What it means to be in a line in general. Like, I hate being in lines in Colombia for a number of reasons. There's just like, everything takes way too long, number one. Number two, you know, you get people who are skipping the line just because they feel like they're more important than you are in that moment. And what's crazy about it is that the folks who are attending the line, the employees, they allow people to do it. So I'm not saying that only happens in Colombia. That's one example of something that really took me off a little bit, off of my game, and I've had to learn how to adjust to.
There's always a lot of different politics going on in the United States. What is that like when you're here in Colombia?
Very interesting to look at what is going on politically in the United States from another country. It has given me a different perspective on it. I think in general, I've really come to value diversity as a whole a lot more living in a country like Colombia, just because everybody's Colombian. And I'm from New York City, so I'm used to being in a larger melting pot.
You became a father a few years ago. What's the best thing about being a dad?
Oh man, you know, that's how much time do you have for that? You know, I just first of all was very grateful that he's in my life. I didn't think I was going to be a dad. I always wanted to be a dad. I just didn't think it was the cards for me. So when he arrived, it was a real blessing. He's perfect. He's outgoing. You know, he's fearless. And more than anything, I'm grateful about it, you know, and I'm most grateful about, you know, the new perspective, the new lease on life, the new motivation, the inspiration, the drive. You know, he gives me a lot of purpose now, a lot of new meaning to my life.
What do you think about raising a kid in Colombia?
I mean, you know, right off the bat, just like I said, I can only compare it to where I was brought up. I was brought up primarily in New York City, did go to school in the New England area before going to college, but I consider myself a New Yorker through and through. And, you know, one of the bigger differences you're going to see, of course, is the diversity, right? You know, you're in Medellin, and as diverse as this city thinks it is, and it's become with international presence, it's still majority Colombian. Same with Bogota, even though it's a little bit more international. So I think, for sure, the biggest difference is going to be really that diversity and being exposed to so many different cultures.
Now you've been here for like 7 years. Is there anything that you realized after being here for a few years? Like, wow, that's different than I thought it would be? After the honeymoon period of a city wears off?
Absolutely. But that comes in a couple of waves. The first wave has nothing to do with Medellin. It has everything to do with being away from home, right? So I've lived away from home for periods of time, college, boarding schools, and high schools, but never this long. And now being away from home or from New York City, my family and my traditional friends, I've realized how much strength I draw from them. So that's not a knock on Medellin. That's just about missing where I am from originally. So no matter how great Medellin is, it's never going to replace where I feel the most comfortable. But other than that, absolutely, I think if I had to really put a word on it, I think there's a word called respect. I'm from New York, and that word is a holy word. We really put a lot of value into it about respecting each other and what that means. So at the end of the day, it's all about treating other people the way you want to be treated. And I do think that at times, I'm not going to speak for all of Colombia, but there are parts of Medellin life where the people here have a very different understanding of that word, right? They just look at it, respect differently than I do. I think I might take it a little bit more seriously is one word, more personally is another. But if I had to warn somebody, it would be really to be like, okay, cool. I don't think they take the word respect as seriously as you may be used to, depending on where you come from. Again, I'm from New York City, and respect is a big part of our culture. All right, my man. This looks like my stop. Thanks for the talk.
Yeah, man, it was good talking to you. Be safe, all right, man?
You do the same. Cuídate mucho. Vaya con Dios. No da papaya.